we're going to be watching the only Arknights lore video you need, Newbie Edition Part 1 by Terra.
Let's go over a few terms which are important to the basic understanding of the world of Arknights. Originium is one of the most important words to keep in mind.
Originium.
This crystal is very important to the people of Terra, as it's a power source for technology and powers. However, it's a double-edged sword, as people can get infected with oripathy, a deadly disease. We'll talk about this later.
So the power of this verse also gives people sickness. Okay, I kind of like that as a starting plot. It's actually pretty good, like knowing that, because I know nothing. So like this is gonna be our like beginner's guide into the lore of the world of Arknights.
Originium arts. Think of Originium arts as the magic or powers of the Arknights world, allowing users to cast and manipulate different powers. Some races and individuals may have unique Originium arts unique to them. The word infected is a term or labeling someone with oripathy. People who are infected with oripathy are treated poorly, often as second-class citizens or worse.
Okay, so we're gonna have that type of we're gonna have that kind of vibe in there where it's like good, bad. If you have powers, you're probably highly praised. If you're sick, you're at the bottom of the chain. I'm digging it.
Various nations and races treat the infected differently, however. Oripathy is a deadly illness on Terra that comes from active Originium via inhaling it, getting it into your blood, wounds and cuts. Oripathy slowly crystallizes the individual over time until, well, they can no longer breathe or move. Eventually, the individual will die, crumble away, and even combust or explode.
This is actually like way darker than I was expecting. Like the lore for this is way darker than what I was personally expecting, dude.
Spreading the Originium dust crystals around the area of the person's death. If other people are in the area or affected by these, they will most likely become infected, unless they are wearing suitable safety wear. Catastrophes are powerful natural disasters, from earthquakes to storms to blizzards and even to meteor storms. Catastrophes are not only deadly disasters, but it also carries and spreads Originium around the world, making more and more dangerous zones to live in.
Okay, so the powers they use causes the disease. The natural disasters cause the disease. What's next? The people just existing is going to cause the disease? This shit is getting out of hand already.
And more Originium around the world. To avoid catastrophes, people have made a vast majority of mobile cities, which are able to move away. Catastrophe messages are people with skills to calculate and analyze when a catastrophe is coming, and give that information to cities so they're able to move away in time. Nomadic cities, or mobile cities, are cities or
nomadic cities is kind of like a dope concept. Yeah, nomadic cities is definitely a dope concept. It's different, right? Is this how they came to the whole base building thing for Arknights Endfield? I'm digging it.
Settlements that are built over giant vehicles, which allows them to move their position on land. They are built to move away from catastrophes. This also functions and allows for easier access with trade with other nations and cities. The world of Arknights is set on Terra, a planet with similar environments from dry and arid deserts to lush rainforests, wondrous plains, and to harsh, frozen tundra. In so many ways, this planet is like our Earth, yet so different. Terra has a supercontinent, and still some parts of Terra haven't even been completely explored. Terra is also constantly changing under civilizations, natural disasters, and catastrophes. Let's start with the nations, beginning with...
Okay, so before we even get into the nations, I did try Arknights, and it was something. Like, it's a tower defense game, which tower defense games are cool, but it had like another layer of depth to it, but I only played like the intro. So I didn't really get to see the world or much of anything that was going on. And I did do a little Reddit research. That's what we're going to call it, Reddit research. And I saw that, like, I guess the beginning of the story is really slow, which seems to be common with most gacha games. But then it just rapidly picks up somewhere and then it just never gets off the gas.
Bolivar It is one of the western nations on Terra, located in the northern part.
Bolivar.
Despite its thriving economy and culture, Bolivar is
Does
currently
Brazil?
in political instability due to a stalemate between three major factions: the Sincas dynasty, the coalition government, and the true Bolivarians. It is also famous for the mobile city dos Soles, known for its neutrality, and the annual event known as the Dos Soles Warrior Championship. Colombia. Colombia is the youngest nation in Terra and a melting pot of different cultures and races. Originally a Victorian colony, it declared independence in 1019 and became a very powerful nation in terms of politics and technological advancements. Siesta is a small independent city-state near the inland sea of Claricide. As one of Colombia's 3 city-states, the city is famous for its touristic patronage, beaches, and the annual Obsidian Festival, Terra's most famous music festival. Durin is a nation underground. Not much is known about this location, however, it's home to the Durin. To the south, we arrive at Sargon. This nation is a mixture of lush forests and jungles to hot, dry deserts.
I'm attempting to consume this so that I could be prepared for the Arknights Inffield beta that I may not get into. But that's why I'm watching. I'm trying to download this information into my brain so that when I'm playing, I'm a little bit more immersed into the world.
Sargon is led by 2 different leaders. One is the Lord Emir and the Pasha or the Padishah, who is more acknowledged as the ruler. Important to note, the Pasha have some more power over the Lord Emir. Sargon does have a king in the central land. However, not much is known. Sargon also borders the Foan Hotlands to the south. Minos is one of the smaller nations, with a culture revolving on hero cult, mainly the 12 heroes of Himnui. Minos was at one point colonized by Sargon between the years 917 and 1042. While they broke free, they've often been harassed and...
That really does sound like there's a lot of lore, and this is just his part 1 video. If there's this much lore in just the part 1 video, we might be cooked here.
Raided by Sargon forces from time to time. Kajerag is a landlocked, secluded nation which is surrounded by a massive mountain range and protected by the goddess Fermat Kajergranda. I hope I'm saying that right. Its neighboring nations are Colombia, Victoria, Kazimierz. Compared to its bordering nations, Kajerag is still a developing country. Let's venture far north as we go to Sami, the furthest northern country on Terra, and probably one of the most dangerous, as there are freezing temperatures, blizzards, and something eldritch, hideous, lurking in those winds that come from beyond, the Collapsals. Sami is home to the Efian race and lesser known ones that are collectively known as the Sami Fjord, that have a tribal-like culture. These tribes and clans often clash with the eldritch dangers. For these reasons, the Sami Fjord are often strict with outsiders to their land. O Victoria, one of the most powerful nations, known for its romanticism and use of steam-powered machinery. Despite being ruled by
Full Metal Alchemist,
either from the Draco or the Aslan race, Victoria has been passing through a succession crisis for the last 2 decades, as both races fight each other for the power. The Dukes of Victoria, on the other hand, have been looking for a chance to seize the throne. Victoria is currently one of the nations involved with the main story.
Londinium.
The majority of
Londinium
territory is dabbed the
Londinium. Is that supposed to be London in this game's world? And are all the characters animal people? I don't know what the right term is, so I'm gonna just say animal people.
Land of the Knights is covered
I almost said furries, but
and home to the knightly Kuranta for generations. Despite its chivalrous and heroic origins, however, Kazimierz has become a nation plagued with greed and corruption, using the title of knights and their tournaments to make money and power. Iberia is a coastal nation by the Southern Sea, formerly a powerful maritime empire. They once had the most powerful navy fleets. However,
Iberia.
this strong nation was brought down by a devastating and mysterious disaster. known as the Profound Silence, potentially created by worshippers and threats from the deepest depths of the sea. Iberia's
Wait, so are the natural disasters or the catastrophes, are they not like natural disasters? These are things that like other people with abilities are making happen? Or is this just like him like speculating? Is this actual lore? I don't want to get too lost in the sauce. Like I want to understand, but right now I feel like there's a lot happening.
has struggled to recover and remain distant from other nations. Following the Profound Silence, Iberia has established a religious order known as the Inquisition, which was previously known as the Church of Iberia. The church was reorganized by Saint Carmen to combat the threats from the sea. Laterano is a small nation and sacred homeland to the angelic, trigger-happy race Sancta. Laterano is a nation where the Sancta found a safe homeland away from their sibling race, the Sarkaz. Despite their long-lasting feud and dark past, the Laterano of today is
so like one side is like heavenly angel looking, the other is like beastly demons with skulls on their head. Okay.
Very energetic, open-minded, and known for its dessert culture with the Pope as their leader. Laterano is famous for its religious beliefs, Laterism, and the Laterano Church that acts as the government, dealing with numerous state affairs. Aside from the Sancta,
their fit is tough.
It's also home to the Liberi population, due to their diplomatic relationship with Iberia in the past. Leithania's neighbouring countries are Victoria, Kazimierz, Eurus, Syracuse, and Laterano. This country is famous for classical music, use of originium arts, arts-based technology, and musical arts. Leithania was once ruled
music
by the
arts sound
greatest
cool,
caster
actually.
in history, the Witch King, who was later overthrown by the twin empresses. It is home to the Caprine race, which makes up majority of the population.
Okay, so the people are like animal people things, right? Like
a nation south of Yan and Kazdel, known for its mining operations and industry,
Billiton.
Billiton has one of the three biggest originium veins running underneath it. Due to its constant mining operations, the residents of Billiton are very vulnerable to oropathy, and while they are highly discriminatory to the infected, Billiton is known to see its people nothing more than labourers and workforce. Syracuse, the land of the mafia, and
he really wanted to say slaves. That's what he wanted to say. They see their people as slaves, but he just didn't say that. But we caught on to that, man.
The fangs and howls of the prominent race, the Lupo and some Volpo. Syracuse has influence from other nations, such as the religious beliefs and legal systems from Laterano, technology from Colombia, Leithanian love for music, and the main cultural identity is the mafia tradition that comes from the ancient Syracuse and the 12 families that govern the nation. Families themselves are under supervision from Signora Cecilia, which makes her the real head of state. The ancient land of the Sarkaz, Kazdel. This worn-torn nation is home to the native Terran race, the Sarkaz, which was built thousands of years ago by
the Sarkaz? Like sarcastic or like sarcats, like sarcastic cats? Am I just completely making this shit up right now? Probably.
The first Sarkaz Lord of Themes. The sad state of Kazdel is due to the nation being perpetual conflict, not only between the Sarkaz and the other nations, but also the infighting among themselves. Kazdel has been destroyed and rebuilt numerous of times in the past. The true Kazdel today is where the Sarkaz can finally have a place called home. Before there were any concept of countries, the Sarkaz back then, known as the Tizak, considered Kazdel their world. Ursus, the largest nation on Terra, and home to the namesake race, the Ursus, is ruled by an emperor. Ursus is often known to be hostile, xenophobic to other nations, and known to be horribly cruel to the infected, but that's a story for another day. Ursus was once ruled by the Hippogriff Libri, but when they failed to protect the nation, the other dominant race, the Ursus, rose up, rebelled, and took over, and renaming the nation to Ursus. Ursus is one of the nations that are dealing with the collapsal threat in the far north. Higashi is near the northeast.
So, like, where do we come in all of this lore, or are we not really that important? Like, are we not really that important to the lore? like with the MC or the pharmacist or the doctor. I think we were a doctor that works at a pharmaceutical company. Boom. But like, where do we come into play?
Of Yan. Higashi was
Or
in
is
a
he just
long
giving us
civil
like the
war
overlay
between
of the world and
northern
shit?
and southern courts. However, when Ursus tried to invade, the two sides joined forces and pushed back the invading force back into Ursus, where it eventually led to volatile peace between and within Higashi's two sides. While north of Higashi is still isolated from outside nations, the south is far more welcoming. What we do know about Higashi is that it's famous for its founding mythology and love for video games and manga.
So
One of
the
the
Japanese
eastern nation,
area.
Yan, is ruled by an emperor, which is said to be a true
Yan.
Lung. Yan's famous history is that of emperors wanting to overthrow and kill gods, the gods being Fermats. Long ago, an emperor started a war against these gods, believing that their refusal to help the people of Yan, even when misfortune struck, means that they are unworthy to call themselves gods, and started a great hunt after allying himself with another Fermat known as Sui. They were eventually victorious and removed these threats, and even split Sui into living fragments of itself.
So they were in this motherfucker fighting gods, but they can't figure out how to stop the originating and the catastrophes from ruining the world. What is going on here? What is going on here, guys?
Yan is another nation, along with Sami and Ursus, that has conflicts with the Eldritch threat. Aegir is the only known nation that is under the ocean. Not much is known about it,
Aegir.
but it is inhabited by the Aegir race. Supposedly,
Are they like
their technology
dolphins
is
or
extremely
robots
advanced,
or?
but they are facing a threat known as the Seaborn and potentially the Church of the Deep, a threatening cult that somewhat worships the Seaborn. There is one more nation to make you aware of, that is the dead nation of Gaul. Potentially a technologically advanced nation of its time, Gaul are famous for their artilleries. Gaul were also one of the nations that allied themselves with Calcit to invade and destroy Kazdel 200 years ago. Unlike the other nations, Gaul later asked help from Kazdel to some extent, and even hiring some Kazdelian royal court casters to help them against Leithanien arms. Gaul was later destroyed in the Battle of the Four Emperors by its former allies and was completely wiped out. There are still some small lingering citizens of Gaul around Terra.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm getting a small history lesson for real. Like in the amount of time we've watched this, I feel like we've just been in a history book. But this is just step one. So this is the world of Arknights lore. The maps, some history, the past. Not so much like the actual story plot. This is everything that's on the outside of it, or everything that's happening previously to it.
But ultimately the nation is completely gone. There are 3 unknown but dangerous locations on Terra. These are the Fernan Hotlands, the Ifni Icefields, and even further north beyond the Ifni Icefields,
The
lies an
rainforests.
location,
Oh,
a
Uncharted.
potentially massive crater within the world of Terra. And that is where we come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video.
So W video from a Terra story, and that was just part 1. If you guys want, we could watch the rest of his series on the lore of Arknights. Let me know in the comments. Maybe we could do it as a live stream. That'd probably be better and more interactive and more fun. But let me know what you guys think. If not, I could just do the videos. You already know what time it is, though. Hit that like button, subscribe. It really does help me on the algorithm to find the community that I'm supposed to be communitying with. But I appreciate you guys. As always, I'm out of here. Peace.